Alright guys, I've said on this channel, y'all know that I want to get back into some predator trapping. I've got a little unboxing to do on some simple land predator trapping equipment. And you also know that I am cheap and budget friendly. So I ain't got a lot, but it's a starter pack. Let's see what I got. All right, we'll start with the prize of the box. We've got a Duke Pro Series 550 offset. Let's go over why I chose this trap. So regular off-the-shelf hardware style Duke regular old traps are side swiveled. So there's a swivel here, but higher end, better quality land traps like Minnesota brand or MBs, those traps, which are kind of like what I would consider kind of best of the best, get you everything you need, are center swiveled. Well, what Duke has done is they have kind of mirrored the MB format in their Pro Series. So classic Duke, it's a little cheaper. I like cheap. So we get very similar things that we get in the MB traps. They're not the exact same, but we get very similar. We get heavy cast jaws. We get an offset in the 550. We get the steel rod dog, which comes with the night latch. You get center swivel and an inline swivel with a big pad or a big pan as well. So you can see with the pan, we can come up under this free jaw and you can actually hear it click. You hear that click, now it's night latched. It actually lays relatively flat out of the package. I'm actually pretty impressed with that. Pretty good close, and the offset jaw. So we have two of them, and I'll show you here in a minute what we're going to do with those to get them ready to trap. A lot of people wax and dye them. That's a really good idea that I'm probably not going to do. Continuing on, we have another Duke dog proof. This will be the second dog proof I have. I'm really just kind of a budget hobby trapper. Eventually, I do want to have just a whole lot of traps and kind of make it a whole job and do it for a living, but a couple coyote traps, a couple dog proofs, handful of 1.5s. That's plenty for me right now. With the dog proof, I also have a dog proof setter. Put on the outside of your lever, and that helps you push down. Way easier than setting things by hand, especially when they're new. And set it. So how these work is there's a trigger in there. Put food in there. Dogs obviously can't put their paws in here, but you can put raccoons and possums and skunks and things can put their fingers in there, pull on that lever, and it pulls this tight. There. And then this pulls tight and their arm's held in there. So we got one more Duke dog proof. We got a pack of cable stakes. How these work, you take one of them, drive these into the ground, straight into the ground like this. The other side's attached to your trap, and then you set them, and they go way in the ground, and they pull on the ground like this. And that's how you stake your traps in. And to drive those stakes, we have a stake driver. This will get us 18 inches in the ground. Should be good enough, at least on some pretty. I wouldn't go 18 inches in like sandy soil, but some clay soil, some good silty soil should be fine. So we have our stake driver. I ordered all this off of Scheels. If you're a trapper, you like budget stuff, really look into them because Scheels was not very expensive. On top of that, we got I think a 16-ounce bottle of some red fox shearing. Really good for coyotes because coyotes hate red foxes, and red foxes don't mind other red foxes, so it's also good for foxes. And then we got a jar of some MB Predator bait. We got a pack of trap tags. I need to re-tag all my traps. And last but not least, in this package is my conibear setters. So the two things that aren't in this box that are coming soon, they just got split up in delivery, is my new 330 conibear and my catch pole. I needed a catch pole. So when I do get my conibear, we'll use this to pull the springs together to set the conibear. And I'll show you the conibear and the catch pole when I get them. There you go. Let's talk about prepping your trap. These are covered in oil and grease and just things to preserve the trap from the factory. Well, if I can smell them, any critter can definitely smell them. I'm gonna put these two in a bucket with some Dawn dish soap. Just degrease them, and then we're gonna leave them kind of wet and leave them outside and let them rust a little bit. As you can see, here's a Duke number 3 beaver trap. Not really looking for that rusty, but these traps are water only. In my state, when you get, I want to say it's 5.5. Once you get over 5.5 inch jaw spread, you have to have an offset or rubber jaw on land. So I can't use those Duke number 3s on land. I'd have to use Duke number 3 offsets. I have regular old full jaws and I can't use them. There we go. Let's get to the prepping these traps. Well, like I mentioned, to get all the oil and grease off of these, so we can use them, I just got a bucket, loaded them down with some Dawn dish soap. We're gonna lather it up and let them soak. Well, there you go. Got a bucket of soapy water. And we're just gonna toss them around in here. Wipe soap everywhere. Get all that grease off. Up and under the pan, on the chain, everything. And then we'll let them soak here for a little bit. I don't know, here in 10 minutes or so, I'll rinse them off and then we'll just let them sit out, rest a little bit. And like I said, I'm not gonna wax and dye them, so they're good to go after that. If you wanna wax and dye them, that would be the next step. You'd wax and dye them and go from there. There you go.